Well, good morning. For those of you who worship at Messiah, some Sundays you get a bonus sermon. I have my prepared remarks, but then there's some other things that come to mind that I share with you. So consider this a bonus sermon this morning. I was thinking when I got up this morning, I was thinking about how we see the world in its true self in this time. We do see people being able to come together and work for the common good against this global pandemic, but at the same time we still see us, in our old Adam self, where we, are looking to blame, and we want to point fingers at others, and we still speak with hatred. There's so many people claiming to have the truth and then denouncing anybody who doesn't agree with them as having lies. And but what do you expect? That's to be expected of the world. That's the world that we live in, a world that is self-centered and seeks its own gain through power and corruption and control. It's a story as old as time. And it's a story where truth becomes relative to that which will serve my ends and give me gain. So I was contrasting that then with Jesus' words when he says, I am the truth. And he tells Pilate, I came to testify to the truth. And in true worldly fashion, Pilate replies to him and says, well, what is truth? As if, can you really know what is true? These next few days are one of the best times to just lean in and listen and watch Jesus, the truth, how he will testify, how he will be the truth, a truth that reveals that God is love, that God is good, and that we can trust in the goodness of God. A love that Jesus then defines, and it begins with his giving us the gifts. On this Maundy, Thursday, we read the stories about how he gives us this gift of a simple meal in the bread and the wine that he shares, and he says, as you do this, as you eat this meal, hear my promises. Know that I am with you always. I am with you always to give you my gifts of forgiveness for sinners, of wholeness and renewal for the broken. And then, of course, there's the gift of his humble service as he kneels down and takes the towel and the basin and washes his disciples' feet. An act of humility, as Harry Went says from Crossways. He says, we have a king who washes feet. And in that humble act, he shows us that it is not in power and strength and control, but it is in serving the other that we find true love. And then, of course, he says, be that love. He says, love one another as I have loved you. And then, according to John, Jesus gives his disciples, his followers, this last kind of lesson in what it means that you are loved so deeply by God, and then how to be that love and that truth to the world. So I encourage you to listen. Listen as Jesus teaches us how to love and how to be the truth. Listen as Jesus prays for us in John 17, and be drawn, that we would be drawn into that goodness of God, that we would be set aside as the truth in love. And then watch Jesus take on all of the hatred, the evil, the darkness of the world. It's in the jeers and the chants. It's in the spit and the mockery. It's in the beatings, ripping flesh and dignity. And of course, it's being hung on a cross. The cruelest, most hateful and agonizing death imagined. And the truth. The truth is that love will die for you. There is no place that the truth will not go in order to redeem and to pull us back from that darkness and that evil. So lean in, listen, watch. And then, of course, we come to the ultimate mic drop on Easter morning, when the truth shakes off all that is vile and rises up, when love and goodness wins. And so in these 3 days that lead up to the celebration of the resurrection, may the love and the goodness of God be made known to you, not in our gathered worship, but known to you in a fresh and new way through these holy days.